on guys, Josh here, and I got an all-new series for all of you called the Triple G Video Game Review Series. And basically all I do is I review games in live action while talking to you guys. So leave this video with a thumbs up if you guys want me to do more. Or my awesome rock band t-shirt. Probably just for this episode, I'm just kidding, I'm going to wear this every single episode. I just saw this side to throw it on, but that's not the point. So I hope you guys will enjoy this new series and expect more to come if you guys want to make more, or want me to make more, sorry. So leave this video a thumbs up if you want me to make more, and I'll review more games as I play them. I will even review games that I have not got a chance to record, which does happen quite often, so be sure to do that if you want me to do so. So today we'll be talking about a game that has been in anticipation and has been in production on and off quite a bit the last 9 years. Well, actually almost 10 years since the last one came out. And of course I'm talking about Max Payne 3, Rockstar's newest entry, and this will be most likely the only game they'll be releasing in 2012. A lot of people have been speculating that the game Agent or the game GTA 5 might also come out in the year 2012. More likely the game Agent will be coming out in 2012, but that's been delayed for some random reason, no one knows why. Typically Rockstar games come out once a year, but that's not the point. So, if you guys don't know what Max Payne is, or what the series is about, basically, how can I explain this? Max Payne is basically this cop investigator. I could be wrong, but I know he's involved in the police force. And then he comes home one day only to find his mother and daughter murdered. I'm not sure if he saw it happen, but I do know that he saw them dead. So he eventually went on a path to vengeance to try to find the person responsible, and it continued over in the second game to finish off the people that killed his wife and daughter, and he did get his vengeance. So now we get into Max Payne 3, which takes place, I'm not sure how many years exactly, but quite a bit because Max is pretty old now. So he's basically moved on, trying to live his life, but it's not going too well because he's drinking a lot, lots of painkillers, stuff like that. It ain't going so well. So basically, one of his old buddies calls him up and tells him if he would like to go on one last job with him that pays really well. So Max basically becomes like this mercenary guy, and he goes down to South America, and what he does, his mission is basically to protect this really rich family from a bunch of corrupt people. You got rebels, you got corrupt authorities, you know, all that kind of stuff. And then Max, while he's trying to protect them, they get kidnapped, and then Max gets intertwined with all of this conflict going on between all of the certain armies, and Max tries to get through it while trying to survive this like triangular war. There's more than just two types of enemies in the game. So the story is good. Rockstar did a good job producing the game. I mean, it's a Rockstar game. You know you're gonna expect a game that has great production value, great story, great writing, great voice acting. All of that in this game is top notch. Every single cutscene I enjoyed. And just so you guys know, there are quite a bit of cutscenes in this game. If that's not a problem with you guys, then I mean, you can skip the cutscenes if you want, but while the cutscenes are playing, you have to wait for the game to load, just so you know. But you can skip them when the game's unloading. So, but yeah, it's a very good story, very good production, voice acting, all of that is very well done. Thought it was well written. I thought the pacing of the game itself, from the pacing by the game transitioning from this area, and then you go to this area, and the cutscene is between them. And I think that the way the story progresses itself is really good. I think Rockstar did a good job writing the story of this game. You know, it's a Rockstar game, you're going to get your money's value. Let's see. The graphics in the game, I know some of you don't care about this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The graphics are well done, I think, in my opinion. Most people say that well, not most people. Some people say that the graphics aren't good, which I'm like, what? To me, the graphics are fine. When you look at this game, it looks like a next-gen game. It doesn't look crappy. I mean, they had almost 10 years to develop this game, so of course it's going to look a lot better than the last one. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the game story-wise and graphic-wise. I don't know if that's the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Graphic-wise. It's good graphic-wise. I really like the glitchy effect sometimes it has when you know that a cutscene's going to come up, or when Max is talking. I really like Max's narrative sometimes while you're playing. I think his sarcasm humor is really good. It keeps you engaging. It's not like the corny kind of humor. You're going to enjoy it. It's not too dark either, so I think most people could enjoy this kind of humor. So the game is really well done story-wise. Graphics are fine. I don't see why anyone should complain over them. I mean, there may be pop-up issues here and there, but they're not to the point where you want to just turn the game off. I mean, I hardly encountered any, if at all. And if I did, they didn't even last for like a second. So anyone that says the game has like pop-up issues is an idiot. I mean, they might have a couple pop-up issues, but no one should really complain over those because they pretty much never happen. So let's see here. I like the gunplay itself. The combat is so much fun. I mean, as soon as I started playing this game and started using combat, I could not put the controller down. It was so much fun. I had to keep playing. And the first time I got to kill a guy in this game was just awesome. Now, granted, I have played the first game for like 10 minutes or so at a friend's house. I haven't played Max Payne 2. So really, I can't say that I'm not a huge fan of Max Payne, but I can say though that combat in this game, I'm sure, would please most, if not all, Max Payne fans. So the gunplay itself, very well done. And I looked at some videos of Max Payne 2 in the first game, and it's very similar, if not improved. So I think fans of Max Payne are going to like the combat system in this. There is an all-new cover system, which a lot of Max Payne fans are complaining over. Granted, to be honest, I needed the cover, because considering how many enemies are thrown at you in certain rooms, you'll be having a cutscene, and then it shows Max running into this room, and then you just see all these guys just like swoop in and they start shooting at you, and then it goes from the cutscene and gameplay right away, and you're just like, whoa. And usually Max would be in cover already. I think that the game needed the cover because there's just so many guys, whether they're high up, high low, far away from you. I think that it was very necessary. I think that without the cover, the game would have been very frustrating. And I'm pretty sure if there wasn't a cover system, people would probably crouch or get behind walls anyway. That's how crazy it can get. So the cover system is fine. It's one button press, the way you expect it. You press the aim button, he'll look out and aim, and and of course he can hop over cover. I'm not sure if this is in the game, but I'm not sure if there's a where he jumps from cover to cover in it. I'm not sure if the game has that. I'm pretty sure you have to do it yourself. I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong, but that's not going to make me change the verdict of the game. So the combat system is really fun. There's dozens of guns, and if you add the guns that have like certain attachments on them, whether they're scopes or flashlights or stuff like that, then the game has a shit ton of weapons. So really good with that. The gameplay, mainly at first, is so much fun. As the game goes on, towards the middle of it, the game starts getting a little bit more challenging, and then you start to get the hang of it. Then towards the end of the game comes, which gets ridiculously challenging. I'll talk about that in a second. So they did a great job in combat, and the bullet time and shoot dodge is so much fun. You're gonna love it. If you guys don't know what bullet time and shoot dodge is, for those of you that haven't played Max Payne before, well, basically bullet time is, it simply just with a single button, the game's time just slows down. It doesn't freeze. It slows down to almost where it freezes, but it goes really slow. And basically all it is, it helps you be able to shoot enemies easier, or make yourself like the best shooter on the battlefield. It really helps. I mean, the more you kill enemies, the more your bullet time meter fills up. I think that they did a fine job with that. I didn't have any problems with that whatsoever. Shoot dodge is basically the same thing as bullet time. The only difference is that Max will do like this stunt where he like jumps from a side or from left to right, or he'll go forward or backwards. It's crazy. He does this really cool stunt. He does typically fall on his ass once it's over, but the shoot dodge mechanic is very well done. I had a lot of fun using it. The only problem though with shoot dodge is that if you're not careful of where you're going to use it, you could either like fall off the map or fuck yourself over if you like get stuck in a wall or something. That did happen to me a couple times where I would use a shoot dodge and I get like he would like go through the wall for a second, but once he would stand up, he would get out of the wall. And after you use shoot dodge, if you don't move the joystick at all, he'll just lay there, and you have to move Max up yourself in order for him to get out of that position. So if you're into a wall and he's just laying there, you can seriously just not even move him at all and just see him through the wall. It's kind of weird, but I was very careful where I was using shoot dodge, because if I dodged in the wrong way, I would end up falling off the map. Like, I don't know if this is a spoiler. No, it's not really a spoiler. There is a part in the game where you're like on a very narrow path, and it's a very long fall from below. And if you use shoot dodge in the wrong way, you'll end up jumping over the rail and killing yourself, and then you have to do all that crap over. So, other than that, combat's really fun, especially at first. I think in terms of you finding certain weapons in the game, like the game goes from, you start off with a pistol, as the game goes on you find really good weapons. I think that was progressed well. Overall, I mostly enjoyed the single player experience, and combat was mostly good, story was good, production was great. That's pretty much what I really liked about it. Now let's get to what I didn't really like about the game. First of all, the fucking checkpoints. Okay, Rockstar, if you're watching this, in your past Max Payne games, you had a feature where someone could save any point they wanted, okay? Whether it's in the middle of combat or not, someone could just save, and then if they die, they'll go right back to the point of where they last saved. This game does not have that. It has an autosave feature, but really all it is just like a checkpoint feature. The checkpoints fucking suck. They do. Now, let's say if you get a checkpoint, you fight through a wave of enemies, you get through that, fight another wave of enemies, get through that, then all of a sudden you're in this one area that has a shit ton of guys coming at you, and then you end up dying. You go all the way back, all the way before you killed all those guys, back to the fucking checkpoint you were at like 10 minutes of gameplay earlier. It gets really frustrating, but the game doesn't have this all the time, okay, but there was several parts in the game where I felt that the checkpoint system could have been fixed a lot better. If not, just give us the option to be able to save whenever we want to, so we wouldn't have this problem and people wouldn't get as frustrated. So the checkpoint system could have been fixed a lot better. I think that the checkpoints do not occur frequent enough. They only occur about every 10 to 15 minutes of gameplay wise, which is not good. I think that checkpoints should appear at least every 5 to 7 minutes, somewhere in that range at least. just so that player doesn't have to replay so much gameplay all over again just to make the game seem longer or something. Now granted, I do understand the concept of trial and error where, okay, this guy killed me, now the next time I'm going to have to do this, blah blah blah. Yes, you can do that, and you do learn that type of mechanic in the game. However, considering how many more guys you would have to fight to get back to that area you just died at, most likely, not for everyone, but most likely people are not going to remember that because of all the guys they just had to fight. So it can get kind of frustrating when the checkpoint system doesn't occur enough, but that doesn't ruin the entire game, it just makes it not as good. So for a game that's very linear and that's been in development for a long time, I think that it's not only acceptable that a checkpoint system happens like this. The AI is mostly good. I think it's interesting what the AI does when, if you're behind cover for too long, which by the way can diminish if you're behind cover too long, that cover might get blown away after a while, so you have to move out of that cover. But when an enemy walks up to you to try to get you out of the cover, he won't like try to flank you, which has happened to me, which was my fault because I wasn't paying attention and I got flanked and died a couple times, so that was my fault. But when guys walk up to you, leaving themselves wide open, they just go doop, doop, doop. Like you're behind cover, right? Like this is you, you're behind cover right here, and then one of the enemies will seriously just walk up right here, leaving themselves wide open, so you can just go. Like really? Would anyone actually do that in real life? No. If you know someone has a gun and you know they can kill you from that close, why the fuck would you leave yourself that wide open? I don't know, but the AI is mostly good. Sometimes enemies will just walk up right next to you so you can get an easy kill. I don't know why that happens. It happens on every single difficulty, so that's just because it's on easy, and when you put the game on easy, the enemies get stupider so you can shoot them easily. No, it happens on every single difficulty, okay? It does. So the AI is mostly good. It could be a lot better. Sometimes enemies will just try to shoot you and not get behind cover even though they have like a cover right next to them and they won't want to move. They just want to stand there so they can get themselves shot at. It's kind of silly. So the AI is mostly good. There are quite a few bugs in this game. I was surprised, to be honest. I didn't encounter game-breaking bugs, and if you guys know what game-breaking bugs is, they're basically where you have to restart the checkpoint, or even worse, turn off your Xbox in order to get out of that glitch in the game. I didn't encounter any glitches that bad. There must have been an update for the game, or a patch that they fixed. There were playthroughs I saw where people got completely fucked during their playthrough, but my playthrough I did not encounter any game-breaking bugs whatsoever. I did encounter some glitches which were pretty silly. There was this glitch where I shot this guy and he would just stand up. Like he was just staying there like I look like a zombie there. But you shoot the guy and he was just standing still there like this. Just standing there. And I was trying to shoot him because I thought he was still alive. I mean, when someone's standing up after you shoot them, you think they're still alive. And I was shooting at him and the bullets weren't doing anything. He was just standing there. It was so weird. So finally, after killing every other enemy in the whole area, his body finally falls over and he just kind of lays there. And then I noticed that his leg was like sticking through the ground. I don't know. It was weird. His body programming must have fucked up somehow. I have no idea. There were a ton of times where I saw my character or enemies like parts of their body go through walls. There was this other weird glitch, and this was during a cutscene. Well, an in-game cutscenes. An in-game cutscene is basically where it doesn't show as much movement. I don't know if that makes any sense. Like regular cutscenes are basically, your character walking around, talking to people, stuff like that. In-game cutscene is basically stuff like from Skyrim where you speak to someone or something like that. That's kind of what I mean. So an in-game cutscene I had where Max was like trying to play on the piano. His fingers went through the fucking piano. It made the whole in-game cutscene. I could not take it seriously, even though that cutscene was supposed to be taken seriously. I did not take it seriously. I tried so hard not to laugh. Oh, and a really funny glitch someone actually found in my playthrough was I killed all these enemies on this subway, and then I activated the subway to make it go, and then the in-game cutscene showed the subway started to move down the track. There was this dead body, this dead guy I killed outside the subway, and he was laying right next to the subway. As the subway starts to drive down, his body, and it's outside of the subway, like I just said, his body follows the fucking subway. Like, this is the guy's body and this is the subway. It goes like this. It was weird. I mean, to see these kind of glitches in a game like this, it's been in production for almost 10 years. Granted, production of this game has been on and off quite a bit, but to see a game encounter weird bugs and glitches like this is so unacceptable. Because this is a linear game, it's not free roaming. It's about 10 hours long. To see these kind of glitches from a game company that's supposed to be that's supposed to give out AAA titles is unacceptable. I have no idea why they didn't notice these bugs. I know in games like GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption, I understand that Rockstar is not going to find every single glitch in the game because their map is so huge. But in a game that's linear, where you can only go on this single path and they don't notice these kind of glitches, is ridiculous. Now, I shouldn't exactly say Rockstar itself like, oh, the whole company sucks because they didn't notice these glitches. No, don't take that vibe from me. I'm pretty sure Rockstar Vancouver, it's either them or someone else. But if you guys don't know, Rockstar is divided into like these vicinities. You got Rockstar Vancouver, you got Rockstar North, you got Rockstar San Diego, stuff like that. It's a really good thing that they have Rockstar divided up into vicinities like that, because if they didn't, then LA Noire would have just came out. So, before any of you say like, oh, Rockstar's taking too damn long with GTA 5, no, look, Rockstar North has been working on GTA 5. They've been working on it ever since they completed GTA 4, and Rockstar North has absolutely nothing to do with the creating of Max Payne. Yes, they produced it, but they did not create the game itself. Okay, Rockstar Vancouver or whoever else created it did that. Whatever vicinity of Rockstar created. So. Now, what was I talking about earlier? The game gets ridiculously fucking hard towards the end of the game. Now, I understand that the game's supposed to be really challenging and a lot more difficult than previous missions because they're the last chapters of the game. This is the end of Max Payne's story. But to see such a large jump in terms of difficulty level is ridiculous. I was only playing on medium, okay? It was like the game went from medium to insane in like one chapter. I'm serious. It skipped hard, went up to insane. It was ridiculous. It was about the last two chapters where the enemies were ridiculously fucking hard to kill. And all the enemies were basically these guys called the UFE. They all wear this really thick body armor. It's really tough to get through. What's annoying about these guys though is that, let's say if you shoot them, they fall over, they get back up, you shoot them again, they fall over, they get back up, you shoot them, they fall over, get back up. It happens over and over and over again. It gets so annoying, especially if they're behind cover and they fall over and you gotta wait for them to pick their sorry asses up so you can shoot them again. It's so stupid. So, unless they're really up close to you, from what I know, the only way you can kill these guys from afar is by doing headshots. And some of them wear helmets, which you have to use a lot of rounds to get through for that helmet to fall off, and even then they're still not dead. So, it gets, I know that these are the last enemies of the game. They're supposed to be difficult, but when there's like 30 of them in the same room as you, and all of them have this annoying, constant, oh, shoot and fall over and they get back up again, and that gets a little ridiculous. You can kill them up close because, like I said earlier, they sometimes just walk up right next to you when you're recovering. You just shoot them and get a clean shot. That does happen sometimes. And you can use bullet time and give them headshots and everything. So that makes it a little bit easier for you. But when there's a ridiculous amount of guys coming at you like that, and all of them have this annoying thing where you shoot them, they fall over, you have to wait for them to get up. Okay, no, they got up, I can shoot them again. It gets a little annoying, but I don't know. I think Rockstar just really wanted to give everyone a challenge towards the end, but they should have really just gave us some kind of a warning if they were going to do that. If not, don't do that. I mean, I was putting a medium. I didn't know I was going to be on a ridiculously fucking hard level. And there were several times where there were way too many guys. I kept getting owned. I just wanted to beat the game, get it done, but I really wish they could have fixed that, but what happened in my playthrough was what happened. So, alright, the verdict. Now before I rate this game, I just want to let you guys know that when it comes to rating games, I'm very strict. But I don't do any of that media bullshit where I'm like, oh, this game's fun, 10 out of 10. No. You'll never hear me rate a game a 10, trust me. If I rate a game a 10, it means there's absolutely nothing wrong with the game. It has no problems whatsoever, so it's basically the greatest game ever made. You'll never hear me rate a game a 10. Very, 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 very rarely will you ever hear me rate a game a 9 or a higher. Because if I do rate a game a 9 or a higher, then it's probably contender for like Game of the Year or something, alright? So, I typically rate games that are good, 7 or 8s, and I rate games that are alright but didn't quite make it, or 5 and 6, and so on. So, the multiplayer, forgot to talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer, it's alright, but it's not going to keep you going for a while. There's only 6 maps right now, and everyone's asking, you know, what do they do with the bullet time and multiplayer? It's not good. Basically, when someone uses bullet time, the whole match slows down for every single player. So you'll be running slow, that gets annoying. But you can customize certain factions in multiplayer. You can unlock weapons. Well, you basically buy weapons, you earn cash by playing matches. There are quite a few game types, but there's only 6 maps right now. I know there will be DLC coming out, but when there's only 6 maps on a game that just came out, it's not good. The multiplayer is fun at first, but you're not... Well, I only played it for a couple hours, and I got really bored of it, so... Multiplayer is not bad, it just could have been done a lot better. Max Payne 3. Great story, great production value, great voice acting, gunplay is fun as hell. You're going to love the bullet time and shoot dodge mechanic. It's going to keep you going through the whole game. However, the AI could have been done just a pinch better. There are way too many bugs that is unacceptable for a game that's very linear and has been in production for a while. And they made the checkpoint system very bad. They did not allow us to have a manual save feature. And the ending part of the game gets a way too much of a jump in terms of difficulty level. So I'm going to give Max Payne 3 a 7.75 out of 10, which is not a bad score for me. It's just below greatness. The game's really fun. It'll please the fans of Max Payne. It'll please third-person shooter fans, in my opinion. It's not bad. Could have just been worked on. If they fixed a lot of the glitches and the ending of the game wasn't ridiculously hard all of a sudden, and they fixed the checkpoint system, the game will probably get an 8.5. But Max Payne 3 gets a 7.75 out of 10. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this review. I hope it made you feel if you want to get the game or not, if you're interested in it. And like I say, leave a like if you want me to review more games and so on. So that's pretty much it for now. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, be sure to subscribe.